Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6 Turbo Hybrid. This is the best show in the land. Well, it's going to be the best show in the land. Bringing you all your Formula One news, your Formula One gossip, and we might shit talk a couple of people every now and then, just to let out our inner feelings about what's happening in the sport. And I'm excited. I'm really excited about this show. I hope you guys are going to follow this journey with me. And to follow this journey with me, what you got to do, like, comment, subscribe, and let's go on this journey together. And on our news feed today is the first one. Max Verstappen, the four-time world champion, becomes the new ambassador for Tauri. And it's shakedown season, ladies and gentlemen. McLaren, the Williams, and Ferrari. We have Lewis Hamilton's first couple of days at the Scuderia. Lando Norris wants to put his elbows out. And FIA, the FIA wanted to ban team radio. And lastly, on a more positive note, Calhum speaks to High Performance about Lewis Hamilton's diversity initiative. So, let's get right into it. I just this is a shocker. This is a shocker. Max Verstappen, Mr. I just want to get into the car and drive all weekend, is the new AlphaTauri global ambassador. Now, let's back it up for a little bit. Let's do some name clarification, right? The first name clarification. I know you guys hear AlphaTauri and start thinking, did I mispronounce it? And did I want to say V-carb? No, not the car side of life, the clothing side of life. I know, it's weird. But turns out AlphaTauri is a clothing label. Like, this is a clothing label. So it's not the team, the Formula One team that was Toro Rosso and then became AlphaTauri and then whatever names in between and then is now V-carb. But AlphaTauri, the clothing label, has chosen Max, Mr. I Just Want to Drive, Verstappen as their global ambassador. Now, I don't know when they chose him, if they realized like Max, I don't know if both parties realized like what this entails, but I've seen a couple of photos. And listen, we're not the only people who are shocked by this, as you can tell from Lando Norris's expression. Everyone's shocked. Like, we just genuinely don't get it. Granted, the HR department in AlphaTauri Red Bull and that whole scandal, how Yuki, and that's not what I'm talking about now, but we know the staffing situation at Red Bull and its sister companies and whatever it is and the way they collude with each other just doesn't make sense. And this is just one of those things where, it just doesn't make sense. But he is the global ambassador, and let's see where this goes. I'm just going to pop that one there because mind-blowing, shocking, we'll see. I think everyone is more interested on the on-track news where Red Bull picked Liam Lawson to supersede into the senior team over Yuki Tsunoda. And shocker. Not really shocking, but shocker. But anyway, I'm going to park it there and let's move on. Moving on, like I said, it's shakedown season. Ferrari, Williams, McLaren. We saw Williams shaking down the FW47, and team principal James Falls was very certain that they're taking positive steps to make the car better, to be in a better space, to move forward and push forward with the development of the car and be a better team, to move to the front of the grid than being, essentially tail-enders / midfielders as they were in the past couple of seasons. There's a new addition, Carlos Sainz, who came in from Scuderia. And Carlos seems to have blended into his new family. He allegedly has made strides to make, to build a better teamwork synergy within the Williams group. And a lot of people have, I guess, applauded him for this, including his team principal, James Falls. But in my mind, I think the biggest thing that's in my mind is Carlos can actually stick with the Williams project. I mean, imagine going through all the notions, starting off from the Red Bull program, moving your way through the grid, and then ultimately you find your way at the most coveted seat in Formula One, because everyone would want to have the formula, to have a sit to be with the prancing horses. You make your way there, and then you upend it. I think Carlos is one of those drivers who wants to see himself get a world title, and he worked really hard with the Scuderia. He had 4 Grand Prix wins, 4 Grand Prix wins. My bad. I'm sorry, 4 Grand Prix wins, and he was a pretty consistent driver. It was shocking to everyone that Lewis decided to move to Scuderia, and Carlos himself technically isn't as moved by it because, I mean, numbers wise, who else would take your seat but the 7-time world champion? But him sticking to the Williams project, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I feel like it's just like an interim seat before he moves on to another team that he feels will get him a shot at a drivers' world championship. But this remains to be seen. But I'm gonna park that one thing. Um, the McLaren shakedown. Now, a lot of rumors have come out of the McLaren shakedown. The biggest one of all being that McLaren changed its front suspension, and that change in front suspension has actually garnered them a half a second. I don't know who started this rumor, what metrics they used to measure this half a second, but rumor out of the paddock is they have a half a second. And the rocket ship that they had previously, was pretty good. It was pretty damn good. They went from being, just people who were just in the race, to actually being title contenders and winning that. They even had Lando Norris competing for the Drivers' World Championship. And I don't know, like, it's, as far as those rumors go, we wait for either testing or we wait for Melbourne's qualifying, because men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. But anyway, who knows? Anyway, moving on to the biggest one of all, the Ferrari shakedown. The Tifosi showed up in full force for the Ferrari shakedown. A lot of people were worried about how Lewis was going to assimilate into Ferrari, whether Tifosi would embrace him and accept him. But from the images we've seen so far, they have really, really, really come out and supported him, and that's been an amazing thing to see. His teammate Charles Leclerc, obviously, this is his 5th, 6th season with the team. I'm not sure. I've forgotten this time. It just seems like he's been a part of Ferrari forever. But the biggest talking point for this shakedown is obviously people trying to get timed lapse and see if Lewis is like on par with Charles Leclerc. Like, what's his delta? Like, this is the biggest question of all. A lot of rumors have come out. Again, all speculation. I personally haven't seen any times being leaked to the actual press or media. I think the first one from the testing period was that Lewis had beat Charles by like a second, and then it inverts to no, Charles beat Lewis by a second. But then now, from this shakedown, the rumor was that Lewis was a tenth of a Charles. So it's going to be a lot. again, for all of these things, it's purely just rumor. But the biggest thing to take away from the Ferrari shakedown was that Charles seemed pretty confident in the car. He seemed to like all the characteristics that had come out in the car. And he didn't have anything bad to say about it, like unlike previous years. And I guess this could mean maybe they're in the title race. But again, this comes down to the stopwatch. And if we get to Q3, and we'll see when time comes. Men lie, women lie. The you get it. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from that. Um, Lewis's first days of Ferrari have been very interesting. Like I said, he's assimilated. I've covered some bit of that before. I think the biggest thing that came out of Lewis's first days of Ferrari was the dapper photo shoot. That you gotta admit, that look was that just aura, giving aura. And he stepped into the car and pretty much, I guess, he's getting acclimatized to it. Again, rumors started sprouting. A lot of people are wondering if he's lost his juice. But he's been seemingly pretty confident, and he released a statement very recently saying that he knows he's not where he's supposed to be post the shakedown, but he's working really hard to get there, and I guess he feels like a brand new human being. And we're waiting to see how this turns out. Like, we're genuinely waiting to see how this turns out. But I'm excited. Everyone should be excited outside of like a couple bad apples, Ralph Shoemaker, and a ton of other people. We know Lewis is still that guy. But again, we're all excited to see where this goes. And yeah, moving on. Lando Norris. Funny thing. When first asked, if Lando could win, if he sees himself winning a drivers' championship, his response was, "Oh no, of course, I can win the championship." And when he asked about Lewis, he was like, "Of course, he had a rocket ship. How could he not win all those races?" Lando. And well, last season, Lando ate his words. Turns out you don't just need a rocket ship for you to find and get yourself a Drivers' World Championship. Turns out you need a lot more than that. The biggest thing is when you get pole position, you got to keep it pinned and keep that pole position. Boy, oh boy, that wasn't really, Lando's strong suit. And to make matters worse, Lando he just wasn't cutting it. Granted, McLaren started implementing papaya rules a little late in the game, but he didn't seem like he just had stones to go in and be a championship driver. But things change. It's a new season. Lando says that he's going to get his elbows out, and granted they have a championship winning car, he's going to be out there in the front racing and getting his elbows out. Again, I'm not very optimistic, but we'll see. It's just, I just don't believe it. I just didn't, he just doesn't seem like he got that dog in him. And time again, this is what happened last season. But I'm just shit talking here. And again, let's give the man a chance. And we could possibly see him in Max Verstappen's run of consecutive world titles. On the other hand, Max could win a fifth and consecutive one and match Michael Schumacher's 5 consecutive titles in a row. But this week, we gotta see. We gotta see where this goes. Anyway, moving on. The Fun Police is back, the FIA, and this time they're saying that they want to cut out team radio entirely. And yeah, it's weird. They've been treating Formula One like it's been like an episode of Hell's Kitchen. One bad swear word from Max and everything just goes downhill. For those of you who don't know, last season, Max Verstappen, I think said a curse word on at one of the press conferences, and then he got fined, and there was a big brouhaha about cursing on TV. Drivers are role models, and we need to represent the sport better, and all of these type of things. But to me, truthfully, if we're thinking about it, it just sounds like the sport is growing. People trying to make the sport grow, and since it was taken over by, I forgot the American company that bought this, but they want to see, some ROI, and this means TV rights to multiple different places. And part of that might just be requiring them to not have drivers curse on team radio. But that's the soul of the sport. I've been watching Formula One for close to 16 years, and drivers been cursing ever since. I grew up fine. I haven't seen a psychiatrist or a psychologist to say this, but I'm pretty sure I grew up fine. Anyway, I digress. It's not like it's an episode of Hell's Kitchen. It's a couple of swear words here and there. But the fun police might take away team radio for us, and then now we might never hear that famous sound. And I don't know, man. Like it's starting to feel like the soul of the sport is going away, and not a lot of people are going to remain watching this. At least, well, the core fans who started watching Formula One in the beginning might not, watch the sport in a couple of years if we continue to go down this path. But hey, we'll see. Anyway, let's end the show on a happier note. On a happier note, Calhum, the famous Red Bull mechanic, sat down with the High Performance podcast, and he expressed how he got a call from Lewis Hamilton to push the diversity program, or give his thoughts on the diversity program that Lewis has been pushing for. He also expressed how it's amazing that Lewis took his time and risked his own career, or put himself out there and used his own money to push this diversity initiative. And it's pretty much been an amazing thing. And congrats to Lewis, congrats to him for pushing this agenda and pushing, diversity within the sport. And turns out, according to Calum's words, he also was worried about diversity in the sport. But when he joined, he realized from what we see on TV versus, there are people of different ethnicities back at the factories and everywhere else. And I guess this push that Lewis is doing will help grow the numbers in these factories. But again, all in all, it's amazing that this initiative exists. And that's our show for today. If you hang with me for this long, thank you so much. Again, please like and subscribe, comment, share, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This has been V6 Turbo Hybrid.